Yo. What is up, guys? What is up? I hope everyone's having a good day today. I was excited to do the stream today because at least some news came down. A lot of news was happening today. And of course, the one day I was literally busy, of course, all this news came out and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess, that was going to happen. So, regarding the Eagles and Nick Sirianni and everything going on right now, we're going to have the press conference tomorrow of Nick and Howie, and we're just going to say that Nick is going to be here at this point. Am I a fan of it? No, but at the same time, I'm going to see what happens. I mean, we have no choice but to accept it. I can't just be against it all year. I mean, I'm not for it. I'd rather have a head coach that calls plays that at least is an offensive mind. I know the Eagles don't really hire defensive coordinators as head coaches. So I'm willing to give them a chance to redeem themselves, and obviously the power distribution of where this is really going to go. Okay, now before I start anything, I was busy all day today. I came out with a video late. If you guys haven't checked out the video yet to, just all the news that happened, I did make a video about it. This stream is for you guys. Give me your opinions on what do you think is going to happen. There's fucking comments. Yes, I'm not in the appropriate headwear. I'm cold as hell. It's been a long day today. And yes, I was busy doing stuff today, and I just bought a brand new truck today. Brand new 2023 Jeep Gladiator Mojave, and I was really happy with it. And it was really cool. So that was pretty much my day. I wasn't on Twitter all day today. Sorry, some of these comments are funny as hell. But I did buy a new truck, which is great. And that's the one thing I need to do today, which I had to finalize the deal, get it done, and it's done. That's where we're going. But appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. And, a lot of news regarding really defensive coordinator as of right now. Defensive coordinator is, look, we're looking for two coordinators right now. We've only heard maybe two names at offensive coordinator, but we haven't really gotten an official interview for the offensive coordinator position yet. But hopefully we will have something really soon going into it. So... But we have 126 in the chat. Thank you guys for joining today on the late night stream tonight. Let me hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think about, we've heard about Ron Rivera, obviously Wink Martindale, they gave the call, but an obvious interview, an actual interview is going to be for Ron Rivera that used to coach for the Eagles a long time ago as a linebackers coach, and only took over play calling the last 5 weeks for the Commanders last season after Jack Del Rio got fired. I can't put too much on him coaching the last 5 games when they literally got rid of two of their best players on defense, and really after the Eagles beat the Commanders the second time, they kind of jumped ship a little bit. But we could talk about Martindale. We could talk about, Ron Rivera, Ryan Nielsen from the Falcons. That's another one. I think the defensive coordinator from the Jags is another guy that we've been talking about here and there. So I'm excited to see where this goes. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens, but it should be a lot of fun, though. Should be a lot of fun. Lays Eagles 2-5 says Frank Reich and Ron Rivera. Yeah, so the only offensive coordinator I've heard that has no interview, obviously the Jim Bob Cooter, which I am totally staying away from that shit. I'm not touching Jim Bob Cooter, okay? But Frank Reich, yeah. I'm just a little weary about putting Nick and Frank in the same room together. And it's not because I don't think they'll work well. I think mostly it's because I don't trust, they've already worked together once, and I don't know. It really depends on power distribution where it goes. If they're going to hire a somewhat of a, I don't know, an older type DC Okay, even on the defensive side of the ball, we'll just talk about that. If it's Ron Rivera or Martindale, somebody, that probably means that they're going to give full control to that defensive coordinator, which is a really good sign. You know what I mean? Really, really good sign. But we'll see. Frank says Reich and Martindale. Okay. We'll see. Let's see. Richie says Eagles could have gotten Creed Humphrey as the future center. Instead, they have Juergens. Good grief. Frank Reich had 4 years in Indy and failed. Frank Reich last year as OC with the Chargers. They were 4-12. What do you mean Frank Reich last year with the Chargers? He wasn't with the Chargers last year. What are you talking about? Let's see. Row 7 Dragon says, no, Nick's still here. If they get Wink or Ron Rivera and change the defense scheme completely, that will be okay. Offensive coordinator going to be interesting, better run the ball. Yeah, I mean, it feels like for me right now that I feel more comfortable with DC right now than I do the offensive coordinator spot. You know, look, Brian Johnson's already going to get fired. Sean Desai got fired. Matt Patricia's let go of as of right now. So, I mean, they have been doing the right things. Nick is the lone survivor right now when it comes to, he's the only survivor that's still on this roster right now in the coaching staff. So, we'll see. Turns out the Commanders D was booty juice last year. Well, dude, I mean, then who are you going to hire then? Who are you going to hire? Yeah, Martindale has horrible statistics last year with the Giants, but look at the roster for the Giants last year. Look at their offense. I mean, pretty much set up to fail at this point. And the last 3 seasons, Ron Rivera hasn't even called plays for the defense at all for Washington. Don't touch that cooter. CZ says, Joey, you don't like the cooter? I don't like Jim Bob Cooter. I don't like grabbing this side. Like this is another, to me, it's another yes man move. I mean, I don't care what he did with Detroit a long time ago. I don't care back in the day. I don't care about that time. I care about, they're always grabbing a disciple from a successful coach that we've had. Jim Bob Cooter is literally an in-house move, even though he hasn't been here since 21. Jim Bob Cooter was with the Eagles in 21 as an assistant, took off coaching for the year. Then he goes as the passing game coordinator for Doug last year, or at least in 22, and then becomes Shane Steichen's offensive coordinator, okay, which we know who's calling the plays over there. So I'm not trying to get another type of Frank Reich to Nick type move. This is almost the same thing. To me, it's almost the same thing, and it's really annoying at times. Rio says, I don't want Nick to be in charge of camp or the draft. No, I think the Eagles have to go a lot harder in practice, okay? Obviously, the practices are a problem, even in regular season, but they have to bring back minicamp. The Eagles are one of 3 teams that doesn't have minicamp. They got to bring back minicamp, okay? They have to bring back that physical aspect of better coaching. So, we'll see. We'll see. JB says, you guys are too paranoid. Coaches, hilarious. We need continuity. Got to take a good with the. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, if I say Wink Martindale, well, the Giants were in shit last year. It's such a generic answer. If I take Ron Rivera, the Washington Commanders didn't do shit last year. I mean, there have been coaches that moved to other teams that have been successful. Okay, Andy Reid going to Kansas City. Obviously, that's been pretty damn good for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's. You're going to take the good with the bad. I totally understand that. But you have to look, Ron Rivera probably deserves a chance because, look, if he takes over the last 5 weeks of play calling this past year when the team is already done at that point, I mean, what do you expect him to do? How much do you expect is going to change that much within 5 weeks of him calling plays? And he misses calling the defense. He even said on his last press conference that he misses calling the defense, and, it really felt good to do that. And, I think he'll go back to, what he used to be. top 10 defenses in his past. It's all about who you start out as defensive coordinator. You have to work the structure of your team. Okay, see what you have on your defense. And yes, I think the Eagles need to draft a lot different this year. They need to start giving attention to other positions because, you know, I don't mind going trenches all the time and I don't mind getting more offensive linemen, but they have to look at safety. They have to look at linebacker 100% because we have nobody there. I don't give a fuck if Nakobe Dean is on the team or not because he has not shown me anything and he's been hurt. Availability is a waste of time for me when you can't even show up on the field all season. So that's, I think, is a big problem as of right now. You know what I mean? Matt says, I don't think Reich would help this team. Just saying. I think if Reich came here as a head coach I don't think Frank Reich, I think if you get Frank Reich in the building, I don't think he's going anywhere for a long time just because I think Nick and Frank like working together. Number two, Frank has already been a head coach 2 other times after leaving the Eagles. Okay. He's already been head coach to 2 franchises and unfortunately has done nothing. You know what I mean? So I think you need some continuity when it comes to the consistency of an offensive-minded head coach. And that's why, like, Nick still being here, just say Nick still being here, it makes me nervous because say he gets a coordinator that's really successful, right? 2 years down the line, we won a Super Bowl, we're doing so well, and then in 2 years, that coordinator is going to go to another team. And then you're back to square one all over again. So I feel like if you have a head coach that is an offensive play caller, so I feel like you just have a longer lifespan with an offensive-minded play calling head coach than having Nick. Where's Nick's value to the team, really? He's a motivational speaker. He's a cheerleader. I honestly don't know. I hope I am proved wrong of this situation, but it's really hard for me to kind of, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Prox, I would be motivated to play if I had some cooter at practice. Oh my god. Dank says he's solid head coach, but better DC. I think he'd be great, especially being from the Jim Johnson Super Bowl staff. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, like, Rivera might be a big possibility. He might be a big possibility for this team. Trax, I like the OC Bobby Slowick from the Texans, but I know he wouldn't go. Oh, I don't know. I mean, Slowick, I think it comes down to how many teams are going to have a lot of interest, too. And Slowick's going to have a lot of interest. I don't think the Eagles are going to even sniff Ben Johnson at this point, the OC, from Detroit. And the DC from Detroit as well, I really like. And I don't think they're going to sniff him either. Congrats on the new Jeep. I appreciate it so much, man. I'm enjoying it. I want to drive all day today. Tommy says, what if we hire OCs that can take over head coach if Nick does bad after next year? I do not want Reich or Rivera getting promoted to head coach if that's who they choose as OCs. Well, I mean, if you hire an OC that's really good and does well, but, maybe they think Nick, maybe they, Jeff and Howie will think Nick is there's just not enough room for Nick anymore. So maybe they move up a guy. I don't know. Maybe they fire him after this year, so who knows? Let's see. I know that Ryan Nielsen signed with, I forgot who he signed with. I just read that before. The defensive coordinator for the Falcons. I forgot where he went. Reich and Rivera would be around for a while. Matt says, I saw he might be heading back to Washington, Chris. Breaking news, Chip Kelly interviewing Philadelphia. Yeah, that's never happening. I saw that news the other day, and I'm like, well, I already know that Howie doesn't like Chip, and Lurie doesn't like fucking Chip. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. Ward said, we need an OC who is going to stay, not leave after a good season, especially for Jalen. Oh, yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, like, coordinators always change. Quarterback coaches always change. Like, that's happened to Brady. It's happened to, not all the time, at least if it's a quarterback coach or something. It's happened to some of the good quarterbacks in the league. Like, it happens. This is just what happens sometimes. But the head coach keeping the regularities of what you're doing within the offense. That's where it's important. That's why I feel like Nick can't continue that. If we get an OC that's really good in a couple of years he leaves, and that's a big problem for me. I think that's a huge problem. LGB said, I wonder if Rivera could bring Eric B with him here. That would be really interesting, actually. That would be pretty damn interesting. Now, Martindale, look, if they're calling Martindale and they're high and they're getting an actual interview with Ron Rivera, they're getting some pushback type coaches that want to run their own scheme. Rivera is highly respected. He's got a huge voice. Okay, that's going to motivate the guys. And, if Bieniemy was like, hey, if he went up to, if Rivera said, hey, look, I would love to be the DC here, but I think we should really look into, if you're going to hire me, look into hiring Eric Bieniemy. And that would be fantastic. That would be awesome. That's a good one, actually. That's really good. Really good. Oh, so he did go to the Jaguars. The report on Hurts, yeah, I don't even care. I don't care. When he's winning, no one says anything. When Jalen Hurts is winning, you don't see bad reports like that on him. But when he's losing or having the season the way he had, that's what happens. That's what happens. There's some reports on Hurts that he's been selfish and his body language. And, maybe some of this is true to where he just didn't give a shit. But how can I blame the guy? After the leaks came out that Hurts was trying to change the offense and Nick wasn't listening, that him, Brian Johnson, and Nick were on the same page. His quarterback, your franchise quarterback is asking for so much help, and you're not giving the guy help at all. And that's a big problem, Wonka still is a Washington, ironically. Chris says, hey, Joe, you have 3 favorite OC targets? I would like Slowick, Ben Johnson, and maybe Frank Reich as like my top 3. That's like it right now. Jason, what about GJ Kin for OC and Jesse? Yeah, I mean, Kin wouldn't be bad, but Jesse Minter is interesting because the Eagles actually had interest in him last year. They had a lot of interest in him last year. They went outside the college rank. They went into the college ranks to, see if they could find a DC. They tried going after Georgia's defensive coordinator. Minter was Michigan's defensive coordinator. There's a good chance. I mean, they looked outside. I mean, look, they're going to take their time on this. They're not hiring anybody right now. You know what I mean? The Eagles still have a good amount of weeks left. You still got, some divisional games. Football is still around, on right now. You still have the Super Bowl. There's a lot of, of course the Eagles are definitely working on some of the roster and some easy decisions behind the scenes. When it comes down to the coaching staff, you have to take your time on it. You can't rush this shit. Amir says, hi, Joey, need some help. I want to buy Kelly Green jersey, but not. That's the difference between the regular jersey and the Fuse for 50 more. I didn't buy the 200 or whatever, the highest. I bought the second expensive one, and I don't think it's a big of a difference. To myself, like, to buy something that's a little bit more expensive, maybe there's a little bit more detail on it, which, the collar, some streaky lines that are on it. I mean, there's nothing to me. I don't buy expensive jerseys anymore. I really don't. So that's just me. I don't waste my money on that shit. Nick says, Joey not touching Jim Bob's Cooter. Oh, I'm staying far away from Jim Bob's Cooter for a long time. No doubt. Bieniemy throws the ball more. Yeah, but he runs the ball too very, very nicely. Joe Brady would be another guy, but at the same time, he likes using his quarterback a lot on a lot of run plays. If he's smart with Jalen Hurts, I mean, if you have Joe Brady, imagine signing DeAndre Swift back and what you can, using James Cook, like the way you can use, DeAndre Swift would be pretty cool too. Because it's a big move. Give me a double R for DC. Ron Rivera, huh? Did you pick up your truck? I have it. It is parked outside my house right now. Find Aaron Glenn like DC. Karen Edwards says, Joey, the guy who did that BS report on Hurts blocked me after I called him out and asked for evidence or names. Total fucking. Yeah, well, dude, of course, dude. Like, why would all this shit come out now? It's the same shit, dude. Matt says, yeah, they always throw these reports after Hurts doing bad, but once he's doing good, it's all crickets. These spaces, Kieran, I would have blocked you too. It's harassment. Randy M says, no way the Texans give permission for us or anyone else to interview Slowick. Permission has to be given for lateral moves for coordinators unless his contract is up. Well, how many years has he been over there? If he's been there for a year, that then they can block him from. Then they can block him. If he's been there for 2 years, 2 seasons, that they can't. The Texans can't do a damn thing about it. Turntable Teddy with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. He says, what would you like to see done with Bradbury? Who should take his place? What about safety? Here's the thing. If they hired Denard Wilson back, and look, I know the pass rush. I think the pass rush was a big main factor. He had 70 sacks last year. Obviously, these corners had literally a vacation all year. Okay. I would try to extend him and probably eat up whatever's left and try to trade him. Trade Maddox, trade Bradbury. Look, the Eagles have to cut or extend Kevin Byard to get $13 million. The Eagles will be up $41 million. And I think if they even make more moves, they could be up almost $50 million. They just saved $2.4 million with a Kelsey restructure. He looks like he's coming back. They either have to trade for a corner, or you're not signing a corner. You're not going that crazy. Okay, I don't want to sign any free agent corners. I'm done going in that market because it's just too expensive. And I know free agency is overpaid players. I get it, but I'm done going in that free agency pool for cornerbacks. It's just not happening anymore. Okay, they have to make a decision to go out and get a number 2. Simple as that. I don't know what they're doing with Slay. If the last thing I will say that I'll hold on to is if they want to keep Slay for one more year and his contract is up, go draft the future number 1. And you know what? Or you see what you have, because I know Isaiah Rodgers is coming back from the gambling issue. He might play as the new nickel in front of Zach McPherson. Maddox is not playing on a $10 million cap hit. It's not happening. They're not extending him. They're going to trade him. They're going to trade him away. Okay? That's not happening. Okay? Isaiah Rodgers will be the next nickel. I mean, Keely Ringo would be interesting to see what you could do with him. Eli Ricks has showed some flash. But I'm not saying anything's promising with those guys at all. I don't think anything is promising with those guys at all. But I think they've had a lot of, they've started in a lot of games this year. So I don't think they're going to I don't think they're going to get rid of both their starting cornerbacks. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I don't think Bradbury is going to be here. I don't think so. And usually I'm right about this shit. When I can see it, I can kind of smell it out a little bit. So. Now, that's a good statement, by the way, but Jackson Momola, I know the draft is far away, but what would be your top position to draft right now? Would be linebacker. I mean, it's linebacker. It's 100% linebacker because you have nobody there. Nakobe Dean is useless. Nicholas Marr was horrible. And Zach Cunningham was probably our best linebacker this year. You had to dip into free agency like 4 times to get a linebacker. At least 4 times. I mean, seriously, Miles Jack, Zach Cunningham. Then you went Rashad Evans. Then you're bringing up, like Ben Van Sumeren is a guy that, man, freak athlete, but the guy needs to know more terminology when it comes to playing football because he looks like, I don't know. I think he's great. I think, but the tackling is just bad. I mean, that's why bringing in a new coach and structuring this team better. And even what Greg Williams said the other day, a few days ago on the podcast and was like, hey, if you can't tackle, you wouldn't be on the field if you couldn't tackle. Like, that's how hard these defensive coordinators take that shit. Like, these coordinators have pet peeves over that shit. You know what I mean? Sean says Brady and Frazier would be a good tandem. Yeah, Frazier would, see, I mean, when's the last time Frazier even coached? I don't know when's the last time he even coached a defense. You know what I mean? And Joe Brady wouldn't be a bad hire either, But definitely wouldn't be a bad hire. Yo, what's going on? What do you think about bringing in Bieniemy for OC, Denard Wilson for DC? In my opinion, I would like that and keep up the great content. I appreciate it so much, man. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I mean, I've always liked Bieniemy a lot because he's very creative, and Denard Wilson was snubbed off this team, and a lot of the players really wanted him to be the DC. And it was, it's unfortunate. And Nick was like, "Nope, I need more control. You can't be here any longer." And look what he's doing. He's with the Ravens, and he's having the time of his life right now. But if you offer Denard a defensive coordinator position, who knows? He might be intrigued a little bit. We'll see. He might be a little intrigued. Oh, yeah, Shaq Leonard, too. I don't know. Shaq Leonard's another one I'm not really... We'll see. I didn't really like too much. He had, like, one okay game, and I don't know. Everything fell apart, dude. I mean, everything fell apart. Nicholas Kurtz, I don't want Kelsey back, honestly. We need to tear the Band-Aid off and look towards the long-term future. If Kelsey comes back, his hand-picked successor, Jurgens, wouldn't play center until his contract year. Yeah, well, that's a problem, too. Are we going to get into another Landon Dickerson situation where Cam Jurgens is going to play so much right guard that he's going to be good at it? I mean, you got Tyler Steen back there. And Sua Opeta is a really good backup guard. He can play both guard spots pretty damn good. If you need him for a game or two, I think he plays really good. But yeah, I mean, that's a big problem. You need a backup right tackle as well, because Lane only has a few more years. So you need a backup right tackle. Lane always has these injuries the last, 3-4 years, he's had injuries. I mean, surprisingly, the injury he had this year wasn't bad. So, he missed a week or two, but, losing him, you miss a heartbeat. Jack Driscoll, I just don't want to see him at that position at all, Matt says, do you see Ertz choose to sign with Lions? Yeah, I saw it. I'm not shocked. He wanted to sign last second with a team. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm rooting for the Lions all the way. I'm rooting for the underdog story. That's what I like to root for. You know what I mean? But I was all in on the Texans, but I knew they weren't going to beat Baltimore, and the Lions, we'll see what happens, but I don't think they're beating San Fran. We'll see. San Fran didn't look great either. I don't know what's the case with every time San Fran loses a player on the field, they fall apart. I don't get it. They got real lucky in that game. They got real lucky. No joke. Kenny says, all I know is Denard got the best out of Slade, Bradbury, Maddox, and Blankenship. With Rodgers coming next year, we may be all right there. Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see what happens if they offer him a job. But yeah, they played the best under him. No, he knows how to use those guys, and we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Kenyatta Watkins says, Hurts came up short his whole football career. I really like his skill set. I just don't think he's the guy to get us the chip. Look, if that's your opinion, that's perfectly fine. Me, I think he's the guy to get us a championship. And I think what's been around him, all the leaks that have come out on him trying to change the offense, and the coaching staff was not budging. Him, Nick, and Brian weren't on the same page all year. That's not. I mean, your franchise quarterback is getting denied by his own coaching staff to get better, and that's what you looked like the last 7 weeks. That's what you looked like all season, because you haven't had one dominating performance all fucking year. And without Jalen Hurts, you don't have a lot of those wins this year. So if Hurts plays the same way this year and looks like shit, depending on the circumstances, okay, then I'll say that he's not the guy. But I'm not on that train yet. I won't be on that train yet. These bases let Big Cox and the wiggle free, save some money for a linebacker. Yeah, I mean, Fletcher's already a free agent. So, I mean, he had a good year. I mean, he had a really good year. I mean, he got paid what, like $13 million? I mean, he came back here for less, like a few $1,000,000 less. He would have got paid like 15, 16 for 1 year. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money where a guy's not going to have a lot of sacks. The guy, you know, Fletch was very disruptive. He's not the same Fletch we used to know, but very disruptive still. Right? So, dude, wouldn't be cool for Varrigot to coach Jeremiah Trotter and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Damn. Wouldn't that be so fucking awesome, man? Wouldn't that be awesome? These space, Kieran Edwards, sorry, didn't mean to sound rude. All right. See here. Nate Offense, I'm tired of these media guys pressing ex-players. All I hear is I got to get my money, so of course they will leverage their expertise to shill for Nick. It's gross. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like, these things happen, and it gets uglier by the year, especially with this media outlet that we have. It's pretty bad. Chris says, I wanted a Bills-Lions Super Bowl after we were knocked out. Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. I'm rooting for Detroit all the way, no doubt. So, Matt says, to me, the reason San Fran won the game is their defense interception on Jordan. Yeah, well, yeah, Jordan Love choked the game. I mean, just choked the game totally. So, Dank says, I trust Jalen will work on his game this offseason. He's almost seen everything by now. Well, yeah, I mean, look, what he had to deal with in this offense, and yes, he made mistakes, but look at the route combinations, look at the plays, look at, you're not working middle of the field. How many times are you going to get hit by a cover zero blitz and you have the middle field wide open? You have receivers literally running routes a yard away from each other. I mean, you see the tape. There's guys running into each other. I mean, it looks ugly. It's just bad coaching. It's 100% bad coaching. Yeah, I fought with Eagle fans over, oh, Jalen Hurts is not going to do anything, and he's the main reason. Like, there are people that look past the coaching staff and say it's Jalen Hurts 100%. It's a bunch of bullshit. Matt said, what screwed the Bills? That one big drop by Diggs and that missed field goal. Those two big things sealed the Bills. And not even just that, but dude, like they had a touchback off a fake punt that didn't work. And then fucking Josh Allen fumbled the fucking ball. I mean, they had every opportunity to win that game. Every opportunity. And they couldn't run with it. KSF 3455 says, I'm tired of people blaming Hurts and Howie for issues caused by bad coaching. Hurts and Howie did their job. Well, the thing is with Howie Roseman, like within those 7 weeks, or even when we were going through the gauntlet and we were winning games, but why were our first half so bad? Why did Hurts have to put the team on his back? You know, why did all that have to happen? Why did we have to make it so hard on ourselves? Then, like, something happened before that 49ers game because they looked like they were dead in the water. Something happened behind the scenes or something like that because there's multiple players that didn't like this coaching staff. You know, so the last 7 weeks really showed, like, man, not only can we get beat at home, but the mentality and the fight back just wasn't there. So it really... If things aren't going to change and you're losing the same way every week, I don't blame Hurts for saying, you know, fucking who gives a shit. I don't blame for Hurts giving up on the coaching staff, really. Because if your voice isn't getting heard, then what's the point? Seriously. If I'm in the back of the if I'm using a forklift and someone's telling me to, you know, and no one's telling me how to use it the right way, I'm just going to keep fucking up every time I use the forklift to look, you know what I mean, to lift heavy machinery. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like, you know, there's no accountability at all. I never see Nick yelling at somebody on the sidelines. I never saw Desai. I never saw Patricia even yell in somebody's ear on the defensive side. I mean, seriously, if you miss that many tackles, like, I mean, it's just rubbed off the shoulder at this point. I mean, so when it comes to Howie Roseman, like, was there pushback from Nick those last 7 weeks? I think the only reason why they didn't fire anybody is because they had this fucking playoff game. When the Eagles clinched the playoff berth, it was like, nope, no coaches are getting moved no matter how we lose, how we win, how badly we lose. Pretty bad, dude. Dang says, Russ was a top-tier QB in his prime. People sleep on how good he was. That's true. and always had a bad offensive line. That the Seattle Seahawks never put money into their offensive line because they knew what Russ can do, which that kind of sucks for him. But PA Sports 2A says, thanks for keeping it 100. Which DC would you like for this team? I would really like Denard Wilson back. I really would, because I know Denard would be here for a while. I know Denard would be here for a good amount of time. If not Denard, I'd go Wink or I'd go Wink, or I would go Ron Rivera. Or get a vet. You're gonna get a young guy that the players got the best out of him in Denard Wilson, or you're gonna get two veterans in the league that are going to shape this defense the way it should be shaped. Those would be my top, that are realistic. Obviously, the DC for the Lions, like realistic ones. I don't think we're going to get there, but we'll see. Matt says, people even saying when is Jalen Hurts' contract kicking in? I'm shaking my head. If we went somewhere else and won, they would all be kicking themselves. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Carlos Molina says, Joey McNabb said his opinion, said Howie Roseman should be on the hot seat. He might be on the hot seat after this year. That I know. He should be on the hot seat after this year, because if he doesn't draft, look, the Eagles had three pretty good drafts, and obviously 2018 wasn't bad either, but he's got to change his philosophy on power distribution to these coordinators, and needs to change his power distribution on how he's going to draft this year. Because if he brings in two coordinators that are going to call their own playbook and bring in their own schemes without Nick touching any of it, they need to collaboratively be with Howie and be like, we're going to want certain players to our scheme, and we need, I'm not saying that they need conjointed final say. I know that Howie has final say on the last three people on the 53-man roster. I know that Howie Roseman has control over, the final word on who gets drafted, but you got to have a collaborative effort. Not saying they never have, but Howie still has the final say at the end of the day. So, you know what I mean? Thanks. Hurts is only making $21 million. All right. Between this past season to the 24 season next year, the cap hits only combined this season. Well, the season that just passed by and next season, it's only combined to like $19 million. It's no big deal. Really the only time where the cap gets really higher the last 2 years. Really the last year, it's almost like $30 million. But hopefully by that time, we win a Super Bowl, and hopefully by that time, they're already going to extend him, so we won't even get hit by that $30 million regardless. So that's what I'm hoping, Carlos Melissa says, Joey, what do the Eagles need in the draft? They need safety. They need linebacker. They need backup right tackle. They need, depending if Kelsey leaves, stays. If he stays, which it looks like that's what he's doing, we'll see what the future holds, because if, Juergens plays good at right guard, who fucking knows what's going to happen? But you drafted Tyler Steen. So Tyler Steen, if they're going to keep Juergens for the future at right guard and want to get another future center, Tyler Steen needs to play right tackle or something. He's got to work at right tackle instead of just left tackle and right guard. I think they need a guy on the edge. Nolan Smith needs to be a pure edge rusher this past year, this next year coming up. He needs to bulk up a little bit, and blame Sean Desai for all that shit, because he barely played Nolan Smith at all. Barely even played him. Blue says, all I'm going to say is the Eagles hire Wink. I don't want to hear all saying, man, not blitz too much. This is what you'll want. No, I get it, dude. I completely get it. That's what he does. But we're not aggressive enough. We're not even 3% aggressive on the field. And there's not anybody that wants to hit somebody in the fucking mouth every game. They defend an area, and when you practice soft, you're going to play soft. And that's how I think of it. And these guys aren't run tough at practice. It's a joke, man. There's always, when you have an aggressive defensive coordinator, there's always, just like the James Cook touchdown, the screen pass, KC got overly aggressive. They blitzed everybody. They got, that's what happens. You take your shot. Our coaches have not took a shot this year. They don't know how to blitz. They don't know how to be aggressive. I mean, they're not made for it. You don't have the right players, especially when it's bend, don't break. You have your corners 8 yards off the line. You're drafting fucking Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and the rest of these guys, you know, and these guys are hitting a wall because you're not running stunts. You're not moving guys around. I mean, you're literally just telling them to line up and fucking go. It's not how you coach, man. You know? Nicholas Kerr says Wink got blown out several times and Denard is unproven at the level. But, well, dude, like, you only have you got to give somebody a chance. I don't know why people are so picky. Like, people are just looking at stats and saying, oh, he's going to be shit here because of this reason. There has been plenty of cornerback coaches that have become successful DCs, and Martindale's been in the game for years. So, like, then who would you hire then? Simple as that. Hire a guy from the college ranks? Well, he's never coached the NFL. I mean, I can easily say, oh, Wink Martindale's going to suck here. Look at the Giants defense personnel to our personnel. Seriously. Look at the depth that we had on the defensive line. Seriously. It's easy just to fucking generically just be like, oh, well, Wink was ranked this, and this. Didn't do shit. Yeah, Wink Martindale's statistics defensively are horrible, but he don't got... Who does he have over there? Really? Him and fucking Brian DeBall bumping heads every day? You know? You got to give somebody a chance, dude. Got to give somebody a chance. But, you know, and then I just saw you want Ron Rivera. Well, Ron Rivera hasn't coached in 3 years. Ron Rivera hasn't called a defense in 3 years. He called the last 5 games, which I don't take too much into that because, you know, he had to. He had no choice. You know, they fired Jack Del Rio. So we're getting picky about one coach, but then people are saying Ron Rivera, but Ron Rivera hasn't coached in 3 years. And Ron Rivera coached the last 5 games, and it wasn't great. But I'm not complaining about it. I would love Ron Rivera as the defensive coordinator. I'm not bitching about it at all. But this is what fans do, and I don't put it towards anybody, but we need to, I mean, yes, this is a time to get a little picky because we want to make sure this is the right decision going forward. You know, I get it. Fish from SpongeBob said, I'd love to see more Nolan Smith snaps. I know we missed out on Brian Branch, and that hurts a lot, but I'm really happy with what I saw. It just needs more IQ in the game. Yeah. Oh, Brian Branch was a total miss. They should have picked him up. They should have picked him up, no doubt. And I think you need a coach that pushes Jalen Hurts and is in collaboration with him to get the offense better, because there was fucking none of that this year. All of the leaks that we've heard, this is what was happening all year long, you know? Dre Diesel, what's going on, man? It says, hey, Shakes, I think the idea of Ron Rivera coming in is starting to grow on me. Maybe if he just focuses on the defense. Well, that's what guys, there's no way, if they called, Martindale doesn't have an official interview yet. If they called Martindale and they have a set interview with Ron Rivera right now at the NovaCare complex, that's a really good sign. Ron Rivera is not that guy, not a yes man type guy. That's really starting to show, and hopefully I'm right. It's really starting to show that, yeah, Jeffrey Lurie's like, Nick, keep your fucking hands off. Let these coordinators take all of the blame. Because it's easier for us as fans to say, okay, well, at least if Ron Rivera's calling the defense, we know who to blame at the end of the game. And we can criticize what we need to criticize. And we get to decide, we don't technically get to decide, but we get to decide and know who's at fault for a bad defense or a bad offense. Too many cooks in the kitchen, or no cooks at all, just keeping shit the same at this point. Jordan Davis coming close to being Albert Haynes. Dude, you gotta give it. Nah, dude. The whole defensive line hit a wall, dude. The whole defensive line hit a wall. You're not getting your matchups if you put your best pass rusher in pass coverage in Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. Okay? No, they all hit a wall. Everybody hit a wall. Nobody. Who came up at the end of the year? Milton Williams? Who came up who came up late in the year? and took over and got, you're not going to get a pass rush. You're not going to hit home. Hey, Mr. Niners. Hey, it's Mr. Niners. You to Philly cheesesteaks. Show some respect to the big dog Niners. No. I am not. I don't care. Reese Buff says Wink or Rivera are a lot better than Desai or Patricia. We can't see. Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I don't get what you're trying to get. You're not gonna get. Look, like, someone's gonna have success here. Someone's gonna have success. So. Eagles fans, you do realize Ron Rivera's Washington defense was ranked worse than ours. Yeah, because he didn't coach the fucking defense, dude. He didn't coach the defense for 3 years. He coached the last 5 games. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think people, like, actually know, like, what's going on. Like, if you're not calling the plays, you're not calling the plays. Like, he hasn't called the plays in that long. Literally 5 games in 3 years he fucking called. Last 5 games. See. Track said that's the thing that really showed me we did nothing week to week in practice as far as, as far as development. Yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, I think when it comes down to the offseason program, it's got to change. The starters have got to play in these preseason games at more than a fucking series. Number 2, I don't know why I've always disagreed with this with Nick Sirianni, that he values the joint practices more than the preseason games. And why is that? Why does he value that more? Why? Joint practices, you're not tackling the quarterback. You're not even going 100%, barely, and you're not tackling anybody to the ground aggressively. So I don't get how you're getting the best out of your team during joint practices. I don't see it. Preseason games, sure. This bullshit with these joint practices, no. Definitely not. Rose there, Giants, you get the right coach. Jordan Davis will be a beast. The new DC will condition him right. Yeah, and it's just like I said, every defensive lineman hit a wall. I mean, we're averaging, 1 to 2 sacks the last fucking 7 weeks? Barely even that, dude. So does Jalen Carter suck because he hadn't had a sack? Josh Sweat didn't have a sack. What was it? From the Tampa? I mean, he hadn't had a sack since week 9. Week fucking 9, dude. You know something's wrong. You know something's wrong. Eric Petro says, we need a hard ass to come in and get this defense tackling again, not some guy who wants to bond over soft practices. And that's totally true, bro. They need a prick. They need a guy everybody loves to hate. That's what they need. Loves to hate. And I hope they get that. I hope they do. YN when GBT said, I show respect to a team that got bailed out by Green Bay's kicker. The Whiners almost got exposed. No. One 125-850 says Panthers Commanders and Reich was also fired with the Colts and Panthers. They both would say, stay with us, like Doc LeBeau, who became a head coach for the Bengals and never had another head coaching job. We could. Yeah, I mean, that's why I really want to see who they have who else is on the list for offensive coordinator besides Bob Cooter and Frank Reich. There hasn't been a set interview yet for an offensive coordinator yet. That's the one thing I know that hasn't happened. Tomorrow, hopefully we hear some more. I don't know. Hopefully tomorrow we hear some more speculated news regarding the roster. But we'll see. We'll see. Ishmael Julian Khan with a super chat. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. He says, I would love Denard Wilson. Look what he is doing in Baltimore. Yeah, I know. You got to give guys a chance. Like, you got to give somebody a chance. I would love to, if they hired Denard Wilson tonight, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I would have no issue with it at all. And the guy is, we need a hard coach. I mean, we need something better than what we have. I mean, I know we're being picky, but this shit we've been doing now is just crazy. Appreciate the super chat, though. JB says, yo, Joey, do you buy into the reports on A.J. Brown? No, I don't. No. If they trade A.J. Brown, like, just don't even draft. Don't even go into the draft this year. Just quit the season if that's what you're going to do, you know? Just quit the season at this point. So, I don't believe any of it. It's all bullshit. Rigger said, I'd trade Sweat and Bradbury for Sauce Gardner. Yeah, well, you honestly think Sauce is going to come back to Philadelphia after this year? You don't think he's going to go back? He's going to probably want a shit ton of money. He's going to go back. And look, I miss Chauncey. I don't care what he said about Eagle fans. Eagle fans pissed him off. I'm sorry, but that's what Eagle fans do. A player leaves, and he's in a better situation, and, you know, Eagle fans just talk shit. That's just what happens. He said some shit. People got pissed off. You know. He ain't coming back to the Eagles. Would I love it? Sure. Now, the Eagles are going to have to do one of two things. That free agency money that they have, it's going to be over $41 million, probably more than that, because they're going to trade Bradbury probably, and probably going to trade Avonte Maddox. Get some cap back. They might restructure somebody. Who knows? But 41, you have enough money to at least sign one guy. You're either going to sign, and look, as much as I like a linebacker early in the draft, we'll see if they change their ways. You're either signing a big-time safety or a big-time linebacker in free agency. That's what you're going to sign this offseason. Besides Devontae Smith's fifth-year option, which they're definitely going to get done, okay, I want to re-sign DeAndre Swift because I'm sorry, I need an OC that's going to get him over 1,400 yards and make him the focal back. Screw Kenny G. Don't bring Boston Scott back. Don't waste your fucking money at this point. I really want DeAndre Swift back. It's like my number one move, to be honest. On top of obviously them being interested in, you know, signing a linebacker in free agency, you know, you're not getting Snead in free agency. You're not paying for cornerbacks. You're not getting into that fucking hell of a money pit. I'm done with that shit. It's not happening. There. Eagles players, I think Nick's ego boosted after the Chiefs game and let the power get far in his head. Same with Howie. I don't know if they were on the same page, but yeah, I mean, that could have been the case, but I don't know. Matt said, putting Patricia at DC did nothing, and thankfully he was not under contract, went to explore other options. Thank God the side got fired and Brian Johnson's out of here. Yeah, they're all gone. Nick is the lone survivor, man. He is the lone survivor. We have 309 in the chat right now. If you guys haven't subscribe to the channel. We just did a video tonight. Definitely check out that video today I put out on just all the news that happened. And obviously, I have some statistics in there as well. So check out that video. Subscribe to the channel. Like up the stream like crazy. If you guys have not, it does help out the channel a lot. And I appreciate all the support that everybody has given me. 84 likes. We need like 200 likes. Get those likes up, please. I appreciate it so much. Carlos Molina says, who do you want the Eagles to get in free agents? I honestly, I specifically, I have no idea yet, because the number one thing I'm trying to get through right now is the coaching staff to be set. Once the coaching staff is set, then we can go into what do these coordinators do? What are the schemes for both of these coordinators? And then whoever fits that scheme it's going to be a lot easier to see what targets they should have in free agency. So we're going to be streaming the whole month of March, the whole month pretty much every day, probably late morning every day, to talk about obviously the rumors and what's been going on. So should be interesting. Maurice says, if we get Denard Wilson, do you think Bradbury and Slay will be a lot better? I'm hoping, yeah, because the scheme will change it will change, and they will have some fight, and they will have some. I think there's going to be a little bit more energy in the building with Denard Wilson there. It changes a lot. KSF says our worst draft pick is Nakobe Dean. I think it's too early to say anything about Rick, Smith, Brown. Yeah, I mean it's too. Well, Sidney Brown I think is going to be really good. I'm sorry. I think Sidney Brown plays as a safety better than a cornerback. Okay, Sidney Brown unfortunately is not going to be able to play until like next October. Got the torn ACL, so maybe he comes back earlier. But Sidney Brown is going to be a fucking stud. He's going to be a stud. That I know. Keely Ringo, need to see more. Eli Ricks, need to see more. But I feel really good about Sidney Brown. I think he can actually be. We need hybrid players. We need players that can move around, and I think that's why Chauncey was one of the biggest losses this season, because you don't have guys like, it's like you lose, you get an injury at one position, you're throwing in undrafted. I mean, look, I don't know a team that throws in undrafted free agents or players that never. I mean, I don't know a lot of teams that do that. We do it all the time, but we'll see. Nicholas says, I want Chip Kelly. Can't lie. His problem was personnel management and culture. He's a great offensive mind coming back. No. It doesn't matter. It's nobody. Lurie doesn't like him, and Howie definitely doesn't like him. That would never happen. Would never happen. Any free agent linebackers that you guys are thinking about? I heard Devin White didn't have a great. Well, Devin White was replaced on certain aspects of the season. That Britt guy, I forgot his name, but they've been using more of him. That's another team that's got a lot of free agents. You got Antoine Winfield, a free agent. You got some big free agents coming from Tampa Bay defensively. Antoine Winfield is definitely one I would be looking at from that team, no doubt. No doubt. That's the number one name that pops in my head. TJ Edwards, he's already locked in. So, Dave Cake said, can Baltimore withhold Denard Wilson from us since he's been there 1 year? I don't know if it can. I see when it comes to coordinators, they can block the front office can block a coordinator after 1 year from talking to other teams and can force them to stay. Second year, they can walk and talk to other teams. When it comes to cornerback coaches, or positional coaches, I'm not sure how the rules do change there. So I actually have to look that up. I honestly don't know. Matt says, we hardly even use Scott, and Penny was a total waste. That is true. 125850 says, if we trade A.J. Brown, remember, we traded him for a first and a third round pick. He was a 1,000-yard receiver during the last 2 seasons. He has been 1,450 yards wide receiver. If we trade him, give us 2. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, if you trade A.J. Brown, I want a first rounder now, and I want a first rounder for next year. And fuck that. I want more picks. I want 2 first rounders and 2 fucking mid-round picks for him. Yeah. Sorry, but 125 plus yards, 6 straight games, breaking what's his face's record. I mean, seriously, dude, like the accolades this guy already has as an Eagle is fucking insane, and in the league is insane. Calvin Johnson's record, sorry. Delco says, I believe the Fangio scheme is over. They are definitely moving to an aggressive attacking style. I agree. And not only an attacking aggressive style, but a coach that's going to bring his own scheme and not be controlled by anybody. And is going to run it to how he wants to run it and be promised that. If it's a Wink or if it's Denard or if it's Ron Rivera, you definitely know 100%. You definitely know. It's going to be insane, man. It's going to be insane. It's going to be more control. TX says, do you think we need another wide receiver? Yeah, we do. We do. Austin Watkins, I want to see what he does. He'll be in competition. Britton Covey has got to be used in this offense as a gadget third down type receiver. He's got way too much speed. I really liked how they were starting to use him a little bit in the offense. They kind of strayed away from it. Britton Covey, I think, needs more of an opportunity. Not as a full-time starter at the wide receiver 3, but a guy can come in and do some good things and use his speed and, you know, be creative with it. When it comes to, you know, Zaccheaus is gone. Watkins, I'm done with Quez. It's over. He can go sign somewhere else. And, you know, we'll see what happens. But Kenny with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. He says, it's a long shot, but hopefully Sirianni will allow the OCDC to practice according to their philosophy. His pillow fight practices ain't cutting it. No, I think it's going to change. I really think it's going to change. I think Jeffrey Lurie is putting his foot down. I mean, it's already enough that he made Nick fire his whole coaching staff. Pretty damn much. You know? It shows, dude. It shows. Appreciate the super, though. We got Dre Diesel with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. It says, thought to draft a right tackle this year in the first round, but now I think we need a cornerback. Lane ain't going anywhere. Draft a right tackle in 25. Well, they can always draft you got 2 second-round picks right now. You can get a right tackle that go behind Lane for. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's, you know, Jeff Stoughton's always great at drafting offensive linemen. We all know this. So I don't really. He's our best coach by far right now. You know, so if they get rid of Bradbury, which I don't think. If Denard comes here, and then I could see Bradbury staying for his price tag. But right now, I'd extend Bradbury, extend his contract, and just fucking cut him and eat whatever's there. And trade, or I don't know if they could trade him, get something out of him. I don't know. Pay whatever, extend them and just pay for this year. I don't know. Whatever they want to do. I don't think they should wait on a right tackle. I think they should try to get somebody in here. But, you know, like you said, you got a first rounder, 2 seconds. I don't know. They need safety. They need linebacker. You still have free agency. So I think safety or linebacker will be a free agent type move. They need a backup quarterback as well. They're going to spend money there, most likely, and probably waste. You know, they wasted $5 million on a backup quarterback this year, and I hate paying that premium dollar for a backup. Which it's not premium dollar, but $5 million is a good amount of chunk for a backup that's not even going to touch the fucking ball. When he does, it all falls to shit. Jared says, Wink Martindale, Leslie Frazier, ex-Bills defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, Glenn Schumann, Eric Washington, Edro Evero, Panthers defensive coordinator. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, they tried going after Jesse Minter and Glenn Schumann last year. That didn't work. Wink, obviously, no official interview, just a call. So we'll see how that goes. Brian Burns was definitely one I wanted going into, free agency. Another edge guy. They want to bring him in. Still young, too, you know, so I don't see why that wouldn't work. Matt says we need more depth behind Lane. Jason Rhodes says they are releasing Dillard. I'd bring him back for depth here. Nah, I'll pass. I don't think he played well in Tennessee at all. He didn't play fantastic in Tennessee. So we'll see. But I'm not in for it. Carlos Molina says, Joey, you think Jace Kelce will play one more season? 100% I do. I think two things. Like, every time he talks about leaving the Eagles, he gets really emotional, and I just don't think he has it in him to leave. Travis Kelce has already talked about that he thinks that Jason has a few more years left in him, so that's another sign. And the third sign is the Eagles restructured Kelce's contract. So I think it's already a done deal that Kelce's staying here for another year. They restructured Kelce's contract. They saved $2.4 million this year. So we'll see. We'll see. Richie says, Trotter is 6 foot 230. Dean is 5'11", 230. Call me crazy, but I want a larger linebacker in the draft. Just imagine 6'4" linebacker. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing, man. I would love it. If they could change the way they do things, I would absolutely love it. We got Slick. What's going on, dude? Appreciate the super chat. 20th super chat. Dude, that's awesome. He says, we need to sign all big names from Carolina defensive free agency. Panthers had the 4th best defense this year. That's crazy, dude. Crazy. I would look at a lot of guys. I'd look guys from the Bucks. Panthers would be a great place too. I need to know. I need more names of free agents that are going to be available, and then kind of go over everybody. We need to see what coaches we hire, the schemes, and if they fit here or not. If there's ties or connections from free agents to coaches that we have, coordinators that we have on this team right now, that would be pretty cool. So I think due time, man, due time. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be it's been a crazy offseason so far. I mean, it started early for the Eagles, unfortunately, but we're getting through it. Maurice says, I hope they keep Alamani. Yeah, I don't think he's had enough opportunity. He's a great blocker downfield. I think we all know that. Guy puts in his all. Ryan says, we don't need to spend no more another wideout. We need defense and more defense. I'm not really worried about wide receiver 3. It's the last thing on my mind. Getting a third wide receiver is not hard to get. It's really not. You get someone that's somewhat productive at that position. You don't need an all-star at that position, but I get it. I don't think you can go after that right now or too early. Let's see here. Let's see. Randy says Burns will get an exclusive franchise tag for Carolina, which costs 2 first rounders on trade, unless they do a sign and trade, which they might since they don't have a first round. Yeah, they don't have the Bears. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know the situation with him at all. So, Rogue says you get Trotter for leadership. We need a leader on this defense. We don't have it. Nate said, if Nick picks obvious dud coordinators again and don't take forever to let us see them again, can we still back out and fire his ass? Well, I don't think they're not letting Nick hire his own coaching staff. That's what he did this past year. He hired Desai. He handpicked Desai, and he just elevated Brian Johnson. That's all. That's what he did. That's what he did. Matt says, I heard, I don't know if it's true, is that Kelsey only wants to retire if he wins another one with us, but I don't know how much I believe it, but would love to give him that. Yeah, same here, dude. So if Kelsey comes back, who's going to play left guard? I don't think Juergens is the answer, even though he might have played hurt. What are you talking about, left guard? You mean right guard? Left guard, Dickerson plays left guard. I think Juergens has been fine, but the protection hasn't been good at the end of the year. I mean, you have no answer for the cover zero blitz at the end of the year. I mean, that's what you've been doing. I mean, I don't think any of them look good. Mulata did some bad things. I mean, Juergens, even Kelsey got beat a few times. I mean, I think Juergens has been fine at that position. I don't think he's played horrible, but I don't think it's to a point where like, oh my God, Let's see here. Ryan says, I want Steen at right guard. Because they bring back Cravon LeBlanc, stud corner. Well, I don't know. He hasn't played in a while either. And he's another injury-prone player, too, so. Jason says, at Opeta case, I wouldn't mind Hollywood Brown for number 3. Yeah, I mean, that would be a good signing. I mean, how much is he going to want, though? Is he a free agent? Is that why? Is he like an actual free agent? Yeah, Hollywood Brown would be a good pickup on the inside. He's not going to be the focal point. As a wide receiver 3, you're never the focal point. I mean, you have to get ready when your number is called, but. Richie says, call me crazy. Thinking outside the box. The Eagles don't have much tradable assets with the kicker's failure in the playoffs. Can the Eagles leverage Jake Elliott value per position player? Yeah, but I wouldn't do that. I mean, getting rid of it. I mean, the reason you win some of these games is when Jake Elliott kicks 3-4 field goals in a game, like that's a big part of winning these games. You know, the fucking overtime game. I mean, he kicked a 61 yarder, 60 yarder, whatever it was, in the rain, you know, against the Bills, getting to overtime and winning the game. I mean, it's crazy. You know, like, I would never, I mean, thinking outside the box, sure, it's fine, but I would never trade Jake Elliott's been one of our best players this year. You don't trade look, kickers can play for years. They could play into their fucking 50s if you want. I mean, they could play for a long time. Okay. Jake Elliott is a guy that Jake Elliott is like the Justin Tucker of kickers. Like, he is getting to that point now, and you don't trade a guy like that. You don't add him into a deal like that. Even if you're just messing around saying, oh, what if we just, you know, added him into a, you know, I couldn't do that. I'd be very upset over that. Braden Mann punted pretty fucking well, to be honest. And he's a free agent right now. They have to sign Braden Mann to a multi-year deal. They got to get him back. Unless there's somebody else they want. But Braden Mann, I thought he kicked really, really well. I thought he did a good job. VP Ord, what's going on, man? So, Jay Joey, what's up, brother? Just wanted to jump on and say thank you for your time and effort for us guys on my crew. Say Shake Squad out. Peace. Hey, I hope you're safe, and I hope everyone's doing well. And you know, I hope you're doing good, man. Say hi to the brothers for me, man. Say hi to all the comrades. Thank you so much, VP. John said, get a new QB coach for Jalen to read a defense. Yeah, well, the QB coach doesn't teach him how to. The QB coach isn't what's going to make him read a defense. It's Jalen Hurts. You don't learn that. It's something that you need to. It's obviously you learn it in some case, but you need to, you know, put it out there as well. So. Bruce, the Eagles are rebuilding. Does an elite kicker really help a 7-10 team in 24? Yeah. Kickers aren't expensive, dude. You know, I'd pay Jake $6 million, you know, right now. Like, I wouldn't even care because that's how much worth he has. You know? Of course, Jason, but they work when used right. Stuff says they need to do a better job scheming the wide. Well, yeah. Yes. So no shit. I hope so. I mean, the route combinations take a long time. They don't work middle of the field. They never took any plays from Steichen's offense last year. Why is it that when you go into you know, Carson Wentz gets hurt, Nick Foles, they play a couple games with him. They're not using him right. They go back to his Chip Kelly days, pass tape. They don't even do that with Jalen Hurts. You know, it's just nuts. Yeah, it's everything. That's one of the biggest problems, no doubt. Nate says, plus, who would beat everyone's ass at golf, ping pong, darts, cribbage, pickleball, swimming, Christmas decoration? Oh, yeah. I mean, Jake Elliott's the man, dude. Chase said, if we're able to get Martindale at DC, we should try to be signing Isaiah Simmons. I think that was a really good signing by the Giants. I mean, a 6th-round pick for Isaiah Simmons was a fucking steal. And he's a hybrid player, can play multiple positions. Yeah, that'd be big. I mean, the Eagles could have afforded that. Never tried it. We need more hybrid players. We need more players that can play multiple positions for injury purposes and just for situations because of the, you know, what the offense is giving you. Matt says, sub this man up, smash the like button. There's all the likes and subs to get for all the hard work. It puts it every day, bring us the best content. I appreciate it so much, Matt. Appreciate it, man. I try. It's not even like the best content. It's just like, I'm just being just realistic as possible every day. People hate me every day, you know, but it's what it is. Like says our punter was pretty good this year. I agree. He's our QB coach definitely needs to be fired. Alex Tanney is buns. Yeah, I don't like him either. The offensive coordinator is going to have that opportunity to hire his own staff. I feel he's going to have his own guy that he wants. I do. And defensively as well. Belichick taught Brady, just saying. Gang says, is Jordan Davis a bust? Kyle Hamilton so bad. He balling in Ravens. Well, Jordan Davis, you're talking about two different players at two different positions, but yeah, well, the Ravens know how to coach. The Ravens don't look like this. No team in the NFL looks like this defensively. Yeah, let's play our corners back. Let's draft 2 defensive tackles in 2 years and never hit home, never get to the quarterback. It's so easy to just be like, oh, we should have. Yeah, if we drafted Kyle Hamilton, what would he have been doing all year? Fucking nothing. Any player drafted to this team would have done nothing this year. Everyone thinks that if we drafted this player instead, or signed this one in free agency instead, or traded for this one by the trade deadline, that they would have flourished with us in this fucking scheme. You know what I mean? Randy says, do you think Bobby Wagner is worth a 1-year deal at Mike? Definitely older, but led the league in tackles again. Great leader. Yeah, I mean, he's great, but like I said, like I'm looking for young youth. I'm not looking for an old player. I'm not going through this like give him a 1-year deal with a lot of money involved in for what, you know? Nate says, but Belichick is going to wear the orange apron down ATL with his Home Depot buddy. Looks as Patriots got a hybrid safety hitting free agency. Who the hell's hitting free agency? Matt says, them hating just means you made it, bro. Oh, I mean, I didn't make shit. I didn't make anything. I'm just starting, dude. I'm just starting. John XHI50 says, Joey, what kind of trucks you get? I ended up getting a Jeep Gladiator, a 2023 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. It only had like 8,000 miles on it. I think it was pretty much brand new. I'll show the picture because I actually showed everybody early in the stream. Yeah, that's what I got. All blacked out, baby. All blacked out. Just how I wanted it. So it's great. Fantastic truck, by the way. Awesome. Nathan says, just make Nick head custodian. Tell him it's a promotion. He's so dumb, he'll buy it. Matt says, I wouldn't say Davis is a bust, to be honest. I think he played well for the most part, but kind of did despair at one point, but I blame him more on coaching. I agree. Oh, Kyle Duggar. Okay. I'm like, I just had a brain fart. Like, who the fuck, what safety is available? There's going to be a lot of safeties available. But, yeah, I mean, I think every defensive lineman hit a fucking wall, dude. Look at what Jordan Davis did early in the season, his pass rush, when they were actually stunting. And, man, like, Jordan Davis in his second year really showed up. I mean, he showed up for a good amount of time. It just really sucks that you just wasted the rest of the year just not making adjustments. And, you know, when you keep things the same, you don't make adjustments, that's what happens, man. Jordan Davis, I expected Jordan Davis to be better against the run this year. I mean, when he showed when he was pass rushing, Jesus, man. I mean, at that size, is pretty damn good, man. It's pretty damn good. Let me check the stream here. How long we've been on here for here? Hour and 19 minutes. Okay. Checking time. We have 278 in the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you are new, cover the Eagles every single day. We're gonna it's videos every day. It's a lot of stuff every day. Definitely check out the videos, check out everything, and hit the like button like crazy. Check out the memberships too. If you want to support, other ways of supporting, hit the link in the pinned comment in the live chat. Definitely be join the crew, man. Join the crew. We're gonna update a lot on the channel. Like when we get to like June and July, like after the draft, we're gonna update a lot of stuff on the channel every year. Kind of want to upgrade and update a lot of things. By the time we're hitting all the draft news, we're going to be doing a lot of, usually like we do every year, a lot of draft highlight reactions on memberships only. So if you pay like $5, $2, whatever it is, the cheapest what is, you'll get all the content for the draft highlight reaction where we sit there and go over tape and all that great stuff. So it's pretty cool, so we go over all that good stuff. Massive, that truck is a thing of beauty for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, because I feel like next year will be our year. Reese says, hey, Joey, meet me at the track. Race for pink slip. Your truck versus my V. Your Volkswagen? I'm good. I'll do it. I think that truck has like, I think it has like 265 horsepower. It's pretty monstrous. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we're at a good start right now. You know, a good start, and we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? They're already starting to get interviews. We'll see in the we're gonna have the Nick Sirianni and the Nick Sirianni and Nick Sirianni press conference tomorrow. The end of the year press conference is tomorrow, where Nick is going to be officially as coming back as the Eagles head coach for 2024, and yeah, we'll see what happens, what Howie has to say. Don't take too much into account. I'm going to do a video on it, on the things that Howie did say, and kind of go over my take on it tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I'm not expecting Howie. He gives a lot of PR statements. I'm not going to do too much, you know. And yeah, we're going to get pretty ready for it. So other than that, oh, Jeep Patriot Latitude? Damn. Jeep Patriots, those are old, huh? Hopefully kept in good condition. But yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. So the schedule for the rest of the week, we'll have videos every day, obviously. If there's anything like emergency, like a signing that happens, we'll have a video, we'll have a stream that night if anything crazy happens. But Friday we'll have a stream, regular stream, just like how we're doing tonight. Saturday, we will have the Philly Shakedown to talk about a lot of the rumors and a lot of the stuff that's going on this week. So you guys enjoy the rest of your night. And sorry about the late video. Definitely go check out that video. Go check it out. And check it out, you know? Drew says, hey, Joey, yeah, I do not want A.J. Brown traded. I just transformed my Wentz jersey into a Brown jersey. That would really suck. Great content is always hanging, but I appreciate it so much, Drew. You have a good day, man. Have a good night. We have a lot of things to look forward to. I think, like, look, at the end of the day, like, some of us are pissed off. We might not agree on things when it comes to this coaching staff, Nick staying, but it's a little exciting because, like, you never know what Howie's going to do. And we know that Jeffrey and Howie have all the control now. Like, Nick is, like, fucking kicked to the ground right now. Like, you're going to stay as the head coach, but we're going to make this team better because you did not make it better with your hirings and your schemes and your control over these playbooks and personnel and no adjustments. So, you know, and, yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, Shake Squad up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace. Peace. Oh, peace out. Peace.